Hello and welcome to WobblyWomanTV. My name's Lisa and today I have the gorgeous Rachel Scoltock. Rachel is an angel medium. She is an intuitive energy therapist and author. An expert in angels, metaphysics and energy, she teaches how connecting to your angels and the divine energy can heal your life. Before she heard that voice on the mountaintop, Rachel was a regular chick, just like you and I. I know that might sound hard to believe, but she was, weren't you, Rachel?
Still am.
Yeah. She didn't really know anything about angels. So in her book, My Life with Angels, How to Access the Healing and Wisdom of the Angels, she shares her incredible story and tells how you can access the healing and the wisdom of angels also. So I've had the honour of working with Rachel as a client of hers and as a client of mine. So I can truly say she's someone now that I call a friend.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. And thanks for sharing your story today with us on Wobbly Woman TV.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting. I'm loving it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, hey, let's tell our audience how we met, because there's a little story behind that, isn't there?
I was going to say, yeah, it is a story, and I think it's quite a magical story because, you know, when you think about the people involved and what happened that day. So we met at it was a course, wasn't it? It was like a one-day workshop called Next Step program.
Yeah.
And it was Cheryl Richardson, the famous author and life coach, and Reed Tracy, the CEO of Hay House in America, the worldwide publishing company, spiritual publishing company. So there was a few of us there, wasn't there? Not many though.
Yeah.
I think you and I met in the corridor. I'm pretty sure that you and I were early, and we were waiting outside and nervous because, you know, it was this day in a boardroom just with a few other women and these top business experts, and we all filed in. I think there was 5 of us and Cheryl, her assistant, and CEO Reed Tracy, and we sit in our seats, all nervously glancing at each other, and then who should wander in the door but Louise Hay.
I know!
I remember looking at you and being like...
I was too nervous to sit next to her. I really wanted to sit next to her, but I was like...
Yeah. She's like it. She's such a guru, you know. I mean, I think I read her book. I was in my teens when I read You Can Heal Your Life.
Yeah.
And I've got tapes still, actual cassette tapes of her talking and her meditations and stuff. And to see her in person at that close proximity was just amazing.
Yeah, she has been a big influence in my life too. And, you know, we just weren't expecting her to be there. She really is who she says she is, you know, and she was so funny. She was so funny. She just cracked me up. Didn't she?
She's funny. Yeah, and she told us off a few times too. Like if we were talking negatively, it was a really amazing opportunity to be in a small room in proximity to this woman who does walk her talk. And like you say, she was sort of saying, you know, don't think like that, but she was telling us how to change our thoughts, and she kept saying, life loves you.
Yeah. I know, it was lovely. And I think that's the thing. We were pulled up by Cheryl and Reed, and that's what we were there for, you know, like to have a good look at ourselves. And, you know, so it was...
It did. And that changed a lot for me. When I joined that course, I used all of the money in my savings account to go to that course because it was fairly pricey for a one-day class. I knew I had to be there. It was just and I didn't even know if I'd get in.
Yeah, me too.
And then you just, you know, but what they gave me that day is still in my mind. I'm still using and some of the things I haven't done yet, and I'm still thinking about doing. Yeah. There was so much that day, and we've all connected, us 5 women that were involved in it. But you and I think, made a really close connection, didn't we? We sort of, it was like minds on that day. And
definitely.
Got a shared.
Yeah.
And a great start.
I think that's a good tip for our viewers as well. You're right. It's just getting out there, putting yourself out there, meeting people, connecting. I think that's really valuable, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and knowing when it's something that gives you such a strong inner knowing, like it wasn't just like, oh, that's a nice course, I might do it. It was like, oh, I've really got to do this. I've got to be in that room without even knowing Kay was going to be there.
Yeah,
and I think to be in that room for so many reasons. Now, you've ended up being my editor for this latest book, and I think we've worked together really well, and you just supported me so much through that. And it's like you know, you can just tell when there's a bit of an angel thing happening, you know, like you're meant to be doing this. Like with this
Rachel, you're easy to work with, let's say that. You know, I couldn't stop reading your book. I couldn't edit it. I just wanted to read it. You know, so really let's tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, you know. So where are you from? What brought you to Australia? You know, tell us a little bit about your story.
So about, it was 1996. I came out to Australia as a backpacker, and I come from a tiny little island off the south coast of the UK called Jersey. It's a Channel Island. It's famous for its cows, and it's a tourist. It's got very pretty cows with long eyelashes. So it's a beautiful place, but I've always wanted to travel. I always did want to travel. So when I got a chance to go backpacking with a boyfriend, I'd been with him about 5 years at that point. We bought round the world tickets, and our ultimate destination, we went through Asia, but ultimate destination was Australia. So from the moment I landed, really, I was in love with Australia. I just felt so right here, and it's hard to explain. I've got goosebumps even now, like 20 years later, thinking about that. It felt right, and I'm still here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was quite a journey to become a resident, and I've put that in the book, you know, and now I'm a citizen. It was quite a journey, but I had I'd never had that before in my life, this strong determination that it was going to happen.
Wow.
And it did happen, and with the help of my
I love a line, I hope I can say this, one line in the book: I fell in love with Australia and out of love with my boyfriend. That was hilarious. And you know, all the travels that you did, like around the Outback, and really, I haven't done that. I was born here, Rachel, and I haven't done that. You know, that really amazed me, how you just, you know, you were camping in the middle of you know, big, what do they call them? The properties and
the stations.
Yeah,
I went to for some pretty wild places, and I think the Kimberley was one of those, which is, I love the Kimberley. I try to get back there when I can. And also Cape York, the Cape York Peninsula, I probably had one of my wildest experiences. I was on my own then. I went back to Jersey. The relationship with the boyfriend had broken down really, but it officially ended. And then I came back to Australia by myself 8 months later, and travelled by myself with a tent. Again, on some kind of mission.
That's, like, how old were you? You know?
28.
Yeah. But even for,
yeah.
you know, like a woman travelling alone in the wilds of Australia. That takes courage. I think that's awesome.
When I look back now, I think, But at the time, and look, I still love going travelling by myself, and I still love being in the Australian bush, and I don't have fear of that, you know. But I remember waking up one night with an animal on the other side of my tent leaning on me and was asleep, and I could hear it snoring, and I didn't know what it was.
Oh my
I flashed my torch, I clapped my hands, but it eventually wandered off very quietly. So, and after that, I was like, I might stick to caravan parks.
That's hilarious.
Probably kangaroo, I don't know.
So, you know, you were the first international student to do, was it the Diploma of Aboriginal Community Studies? Is that right?
It's Diploma Aboriginal Studies, in Australia. So after all my travels, I just really wanted to find out more about the Aboriginal culture and the things that had happened since colonisation. I'd heard things, but I didn't really know exactly what happened. So I signed up for a course in Kempsey in New South Wales, and when I signed up for it, they said this course isn't actually on the immigration, you know, their list.
Yeah.
So I had to get registered because no one from overseas had ever chosen to study Aboriginal studies before.
That's amazing.
So I did a full-time course, yeah. And it was amazing. It was a great course to do. I'm really glad I did it.
What I love, some of the little stories you tell also, but the fact that, you know, some of the elders, they had your back and they came to your graduation ceremony and, like, they really were grateful that you were interested in their culture and, you know, like, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. They really were. And that, in a way, it took me by surprise because in a funny little way, I think I was a little bit shy, thinking they're going to think, who is this English woman that's just wants to come, you know. I thought they would think like that, but you know, they were sensitive and loving and open, and they want us to know more about their culture. So they felt privileged. They told me that I was there studying what was theirs. So that was really beautiful, and it's, you know, it remains one of those things that I'll always keep in my heart. And whenever people are racist or about anyone, but particularly about Aboriginal people, I say this, you know, they were more welcoming at times than some of the non-Aboriginal people. So
wow,
beautiful experience. And again, one I think I was meant to do. I think I was supposed to do that. So
no, it's interesting. So I'd love you to share that pivotal moment in your life. Like, you were just going about life like everyone else does, you know, searching for your path and doing different things and traveling and having fun, all that sort of thing. So tell us about that moment when that really changed your life.
Well, there was two, I think. I think the first one, which is the first bit in the book, you know, about the mountain, when an angel, I didn't know it was an angel at the time, but I was travelling in my car across the Great Dividing Range, and a voice told me to stop my car. And it repeated twice. So I thought I was going crazy. I wound the windows down, I turned the music down, and there was no one around. And then it came again, really loud. So I knew someone.
Were you freaking out? Were you freaking out? Or like?
I remember winding the window down in my little old car, you know, no electric windows, winding down and looking and thinking, where is this male voice coming from? There has to be someone out there.
Yeah.
And when I didn't see anyone, I knew in my gut, I knew it was a mysterious something. I knew it didn't actually come from a physical, but I didn't know anything back then, really.
Yeah.
So, and I thought, well, maybe it was an echo coming up the mountain, or maybe it came, you know, maybe it was in my head.
Yeah.
So I kept going, and then it came again, but it was so loud this time. It was like someone was talking down like a tube next to my ear. And then I was like, oh, and I did what it said. I slowed. I didn't stop, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the car accident around the next corner. There was multiple cars all over. And I knew if I'd have kept going, if that voice hadn't told me, I would have ploughed into people or cars or both.
Wow.
So then I sort of cruised through, made sure everyone was okay, cruised through, and just the whole way home, which was about 4 hours, went, what or who was that?
Yeah.
And the voice was so deep and resonant and loud and strong, and I knew it wasn't a deceased loved one. I knew that the people that I knew on the other side didn't speak like that. So I thought of my granddad, you know, and I thought, no, that wasn't my granddad's voice.
Had you had any other voices like that before? That you hadn't, had you?
Never. No.
Yeah. Not like that.
Like that
yeah.
Before. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was the moment that triggered everything. But it took a while after that. Things kept happening like that. I would hear that voice, and I would find feathers every single day on my doorstep. So I now know they were guiding. They were starting to come into my life. They were starting to guide me.
Wow.
But then, as you know from the book, I went off track a little bit. I went and got married, and a few things happened. And then I came back to the coast, and I saw a course with Doreen Virtue, the angel lady from America.
Yeah.
And it just called to me. It was just calling me. It was a course in learning about your intuition and connecting to angels. And so that course, I did it. I don't know how I found the money, just like our story before. It was. Yeah. I think I had so little money at that time.
Yeah, because you were in the process of getting your visa and all that as well. So you had all those other obstacles in your way. Yeah.
And, you know, my partner was working at the time, but I wasn't because I didn't have the full visa. And I wasn't entitled to welfare or any kind of government support. So, you know, what little money I had, I was either earning in a little part-time job every now and then, or so there was not much in my savings account. But this course would have cost me about $1,400.
Yeah.
And I said, I really, really, really want to go. So, and then I ended up, my dad gave me a bit of money as a gift, so money came in, and I just booked it and went. And at the time, my husband was like, what are you going to that rubbish for? You know? But on the way home from that course, I spent 3 days immersed in this angel stuff, learning everything I could and learning that my sensitivity that I'd had my whole life and those voices and all the things that I was starting to wake up to were actually real and that were actually my intuition.
So, Rachel, this would have been like a massive, you know, revelation to you. It's sort of like, oh my God, okay, I'm normal. This is a real thing, you know?
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. It was, I felt normal. I felt relieved, you know, on two places. One was that the angels were real because I was learning about the angels and how they speak to us and how they can rescue us. But also I learned that my sensitivity, my empathy, the feelings I was getting in my body my whole life, and that nobody else seemed to understand. I was always told I was too sensitive, too emotional, you know, get over it, harden up, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with that. It was actually my channel for being able to tune in to people and to my own intuition, but for people as well. And during that course, we learned how to read angel cards.
Wow.
So on the way back from that course in my little car, it was a 5-hour drive from Sydney to the place in New South Wales. I just knew. I just could see it all. I could see the room I would be working in. I knew I would have a massage table in it. I knew I would have angel cards. I knew that people would come to me for healing and for readings.
Wow.
And none of that sort of, I'd seen bits like that in the course, but I think in the course I was still a bit sort of like, wow. It was on that drive home that I had this is what I'm doing.
Wow, that gives me goosebumps, you know. It really does. So, it's like it all became real for you, didn't it?
That's it. Because I've been a little bit depressed, to be honest, in like the marriage was going a bit skew-iff, but during that time I was depressed because I couldn't find myself. I didn't know what I was going to do. Yeah. I'd thought of photography, I'd thought of writing, I'd thought of all these things, but I didn't see how I was going to get where I wanted to go. And it wasn't that I was desperate, but I knew, you know, that something was for me in this world. There was something that I was meant to do in this world. Yeah,
because Rachel, you know, being an angel therapist, like intuitive therapist as well, it's like it's not like a guaranteed regular paycheck either. So you were still, taking a risk, like writers, artists, and all that. You know, but you just knew, didn't you? You just knew this is why I'm here. This is, you know. Yeah.
I did. I completely knew, and everything was going into place. So I've always collected crystals since I was a child. I could see I would be using crystals in my healing room. It was like all of the questions that came up were like, you know, do you really know enough? Are you qualified? All of that, there was always an answer. You do know enough. You've got enough to be able to help people, and over time you will learn more.
Yeah.
If you don't sort of, you know, you tell people what you've got to offer. You don't have to have a PhD, and you don't have to necessarily have a degree or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You just have a good intention and a willingness to learn.
Yeah.
And some pool of knowledge. You've got to have something to offer people.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of time it's experience as well, isn't it? You know, like in your book you talk about the years of, you know, what led you to become an angel healer, you know, and it wasn't just overnight, was it, Rachel? There was a lot of steps in between, a lot of things that, you know, a lot of lessons learnt, good and bad, and some amazing and some happy and some sad. Like, I don't want to tell all the stories in the book. I want people to read the book because it's awesome, you know. But
but you're right. Yeah, it was like my apprenticeship for a few years.
Yeah.
I was learning, training, even though I was doing it on the spot, if you like, for people. The people were coming for massages at first. I trained as a massage therapist as well.
Yeah.
But I was helping them with energy healing, with the angels, telling them to ask the angels for help, doing little readings as well.
So you started your little business and you were doing, you were just doing everything on your own and learning as you go, like all this marketing stuff and all that as well. But, what are some of the obstacles that you face? Did you cop flack from people? Like, did people, Rachel, when you first thought, okay, this is what I am, this is who I am, did people ridicule you? Did people say, oh, you're mad, Rachel?
Yes, and some of them not very kindly.
Okay.
But I think for some people, like when I look at it now, I don't freak out. Like I used to freak out a bit, like when it first happened, I used to get cranky or just upset that people weren't being supportive. But I understand now that people have their own fears, and they project them onto us. When we say we're going to do something different, they go, they think of all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. And sometimes that comes from misplaced kind of worry, love. You're like, oh, I don't want you to do that. I remember my mum, bless her, saying no. I told her what I was going to do. She just went no. Like that was her genuine reaction. Was like, you can't do that. My partner at the time was like, give it a month, that kind of thing.
Oh.
My friends told me, I was wasting my time because I lived in a rural village. Like I was 2 kilometres up a dirt road.
Wow.
So it wasn't even flowing with angel-orientated people. And some people were quite rude, and mostly strangers were a bit like offhand. But I just kept going anyway. I think I realised that was going to happen, and I didn't have any illusions that everyone would just fall at my feet and go, yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And, I never thought, I'll show them, but in a way, I think I just had that determination to just succeed and help people.
Well, also the other thing that came out in the book, Rachel, was that the angels were really making their presence felt to you. Like, I was quite blown away by some of the stories, that you told, and it was like, you had this knowing this is what you want to do, but I guess the question I want to ask is, why do angels make their presence felt? Is it only to people like you, who want to be angel mediums? Is it to, for all of us? Like I know, we hear about our guardian angels and all that, but why are they making their presence felt? And maybe tell us about some of the signs,
Yeah, sure. Well, because I think, no, they don't only do it for people like me. And I think they came into my life at that time because maybe, partly because it was my life purpose to do this work. But I also think because I was lost and I was asking for help. But I've never been religious, and I've never been, I never really knew back then if there was a God. But I had a feeling that there was an energy, like I knew that there was something deeper.
Yeah.
Something bigger. So at that time when I was feeling quite lost several times, I used to ask, like, please help me to find my way, help me to stay in Australia, help me. So I think that triggered them being able to step in, because I now know that there's free will. Us human beings, we can go along as we want in our own independent, stubborn ways, saying, I'm going to do it this way and I don't need any help. Mm-hmm. But at some point, we all hit some kind of rock bottom, don't we? There's always something in life that trips us up, sometimes several things, I've had my fair share. But when we ask, even if we're just saying universe or I wish, we invoke these beautiful beings that have been with us since before we were born. Wow. And will be with us every single moment, never leaving our side, never mind whatever you've done, whatever you've thought, what religion or belief you have. These beings are with us. They're with everybody. They're with you. And they're allowed to step in when we ask. So that's one thing. They can step in and give us signs and help us. And I believe in a bigger picture, angels are becoming more prominent at this moment. And I think a lot of the old structures are falling away, old belief systems, whether they're to do with some religious beliefs or whatever. There's been a rigidity in the world where spiritual stuff wasn't kind of acceptable, and maybe like in the 80s we were trying to do everything by ourselves, and we were, but now people are being more open, and I think that's part of the divine plan. I think we're all going to a higher consciousness. We're all becoming more aware. Yeah. And the angels are triggering that because, frankly, there's a lot of yucky stuff on the planet. Yeah. And we've got to wake up and start changing and be more peaceful. And
I agree with you, Rachel. I agree that there's definitely shifts, that people are not happy with the way things have been, and we're all searching, we're all looking for something different, aren't we? For answers, or for more love. I don't need to sound silly or wanky or whatever, but we want to be happy and healthy and not have to put up with all the bullshit in the world, don't we? So do you think that the angels are helping us as a planet, as a
planet and as individuals, and that they can help us with anything practical, down to earth, little things like finding parking spaces and getting your washing machine fixed or getting your computer to work, or you can have help with your relationships and with healing patterns that you've gotten stuck in, and that finding your life purpose, finding something meaningful in your life, and ultimately the happier we are as individuals, the more peace we have, then the more peace we have to share with each other. When we're resentful, we're grumpy, and we're not sharing peace at all.
Yeah, that's right. So, can you imagine doing anything else? Like, are you so happy in what you're doing? You obviously love what you're doing,
I do love what I'm doing. I really, really do love it. And it's, I'm grateful every day that I'm doing it. And over the years, there've been times when I've second-guessed it, especially back when there was a lot of struggle and I was building the business and wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing, because I went through my doubts. But I know this is what I'm meant to be doing, so that's a big part of it. I loved being in music management when I was in the UK, and that was something, but that's part of what I do in my spare time now. I love going to see music, so I think that's what actually kept me going sometimes, was knowing I didn't want to do anything else.
Wow. So what would you say to other wobbly women or men out there who might be feeling a bit stuck in their life, in whatever, in a job they don't like, or in a relationship, or just not happy? What would you say to them to help them to maybe, find their passion or purpose or some happiness in their life?
Well, I think the important thing is to remember that there's infinite possibilities, that if you're stuck in something, that's a perspective, that's a way of looking at it. And when we get stuck, we tend to narrow our view down, and we feel like this is all there is, this is as good as it's going to get, and the negative voices come in, the ego, and it says, oh, you won't find anything better, or if you leave, something terrible will happen, So the first thing to do, I think, is to recognize or get used to the idea that this isn't all that is planned for you. If you're stuck and you're not happy, there is something else. There is something else. Might be a few things,
Yeah.
And when you realize that, you realize this is a universe of infinite possibilities, not limitation.
Yeah.
Then you start to get your own mind out of that feeling of stuckness, and then call on your angels. Ask the angels to show you, to help you, to heal you, to heal away the causes and the energies that are stuck inside you. Because when we get stuck, we get resentful, we lose our confidence. I think.
Yeah.
People get, down with what is, and then the more we look at that, the more we get stuck in it. It's like it becomes a cycle.
Yeah.
So the angels then have got amazing energy healing skills. As soon as you ask them, they'll come in. They'll start to shift those blocks and those blindfolds we have on when we think, oh, this is it, this is all there is.
Yeah.
And they'll start to guide you. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and look, they're always with us, and they're always trying to nudge us in the right direction. I mean, when I look back now, I can tell when I've been in a horrible relationship and just gone, oh, what am I going to do? I can look back now and recognise there were lots of signs, and there was lots of things that were pushing me. I know my angels were working to go, look. But I was, I had my hands over my ears and my eyes and, in my own way.
Yeah.
So I think when we ask, we're actually opening. It's like we take our hands off our ears and we become open to that guidance, and we start to notice it instead of being shut down. Yeah. Which is a self-protection thing, but it doesn't help. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's beautiful, actually. I think the whole message there is, just be open to it before you want to be critical or judgmental. Just be open to all ideas, I try to live like that. I try to live like that with when people are selling me stuff, when I go somewhere, I always think, I don't know. I really try to have that attitude as well, and I think it's, it's helpful, isn't it? Then you can make a decision. Is this right for me or not?
That's right, and you trust your feelings, you trust your gut. And what is it? There's a beautiful quote, Wayne Dyer, have a mind that's open to everything and closed to nothing. It's like, if you're, because how can we possibly know all the answers already? We don't.
Yeah.
And we think we know, you meet someone, you go, that person's my soulmate, and then you sort of hang on for dear life, even though it's like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And we've decided that there's no angel or divine spirit has decided that. We are choosing that. And so the minute we let go and realize there's something else, there might be something else. This might be just a lesson I'm learning, or it might eventually come good, but I've got to let go so that something else can come in and have an open mind about it.
Yeah. Rachel, I really, really loved reading your book. Like I said before, it was, I felt a sense of calm when I was reading it. It's hard to explain. It was just like I wanted to keep reading it because it just made me feel calm and peaceful, and I don't know, just put me in a different state, actually, because you've got a lot of different prayers and affirmations and tips and, strategies to work with angels as well. So, I've actually been trying to implement some of that in my own life as well. So, it's been really interesting,
I love that you say it made you feel calm, because that's how the angels are. Their energy is very calming and peaceful. Okay. And so part of my intention with this book was to create that energy so that people could get in touch with their angel energy without even having to sit in meditation or, I mean, I think on some degree we give permission for the angels to come in, even maybe by buying a book like that or by picking up an angel statue that we just feel drawn to, we start to invite, and then that peace has an effect on us, and that's really what they are. They're peace personified.
That's beautiful. So Rachel, tell us about all the different, offerings that you have, all the different things that you do. You've got an amazing workshop coming up soon. So just tell people about some of the things that you do.
Okay, so I do readings. I still do readings. I do them a little bit differently now. I record them and set at a distance and send them to my clients.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm an empath, I really feel a lot, and you've got to get through a lot of energy when someone's in your presence. So I love doing them at a distance now. They're much more clear. I also do Skype sessions. So I do energy healing on Skype sessions and helping people. It's a combination of like coaching and healing and helping people to work through stuff and let go of their blocks and get the angels' guidance on their life.
Okay.
And I occasionally have people to my house too for healing sessions. So I do a limited amount of that. And then I'm doing a workshop next week, at Uluru.
Uluru. See, this is amazing. It's like, I know you've travelled there a bit, but it's like come full circle. You're back in that beautiful spiritual place, and I love it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love that you put it like that. You know, I hadn't thought of that as being a full circle. But yeah, I'm combining my two loves, angels and travel.
Yeah.
But the energy out there, Lisa, is just incredible. It's just such an impact. We're so lucky in Australia to have this incredible, I mean, there's beautiful energy and beautiful places everywhere, but Uluru is amazing. It's an energy vortex, and it's very high spiritual energy. Good place to go to do some personal, just to be there and heal and let go of things. So I'm going to be teaching about angels there. I'm teaching a beautiful group of women how to read the angel cards, how to get their angel messages for themselves. Wow. I'm really excited.
Oh, God, I wish I was going. Are you going to do more in the future, like there or other places, or yeah?
I've got a vision of doing them in different places, like maybe going to the Daintree, maybe going to, maybe going up to Kakadu. There's some, you know, and connecting in with that Aboriginal energy. It's, you know, it's spiritual energy. It's high vibrational energy. It's nature.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wisdom locked into that stuff, and there's a lot of guidance for everybody that can learn things from that. And you know, so I think that's, you know, that's part. I've got a lot of respect, obviously, for Aboriginal people and traditional owners of the land.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I will be doing them again.
Oh, good.
Even if it's just you and me.
That's great. So, is there anything else that you want to add or that you want to share for our listeners? Or
I think I always say to people, you know, just ask. Like, if you've got a little bit of skepticism inside, or a little bit of like, you know, maybe it'll work for you but not for me, or any of that, just use it like an experiment and have a go.
Okay.
And ask angels to help you, maybe at first with something simple, because, you know, the big complex issues that we're carrying, I mean, definitely ask their help for that. But if, as an experiment, do little things as well, because we're sometimes carrying a big emotional load with us, and we sometimes it can take longer for things to start to manifest with the bigger things. But ask your angels for help with a couple of things and be open. Don't try to control it. Don't try to tell them, you know, I don't want a rainbow at 4:00 through the left side of the house. You can't say that. You've got to just be open and let it happen, and let them surprise you, because that's what happened to me, and that's what gave me my faith. And the more you do that, the stronger your faith builds, and the more you let these beautiful, loving, trustworthy beings in, and then you start to work with them, and they help you with your life.
Oh, Rachel, thank you so much. I love your story, and I love your book, and I really recommend it to people. It's just a beautiful story, and helpful, useful, inspiring, informative, entertaining. You're really funny in some of the things you talk about as well. It's just an absolutely gorgeous book, and you're a gorgeous woman. And
thank you. So are you. And look, without you as an editor, I know this is your different hat that you're on now. But your editing made a huge difference, because you know, I presented you with a giant bumper, massive tome that has been whittled down to a normal sized book now. Thank God. But, you know, so thank you. I think the angels lined you up. You were the angel editor for this.
Thank you. You know what that just showed to me, Rachel? It shows me that you have got so many books inside you. So, you know, this is another one out. So, yeah, you've got 2 out now, which is great. But I just want to really thank you for the whole experience. It was just wonderful.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's exciting.
It is. So tell us about your website and how people can find you.
Okay, so my website is rachelscoltock.com. Easy, funny surname, but there's not many Scoltocks around. Scoltock.
I'll put some links up as well. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And look, the book's up on there now, and it's on Amazon.com as a hard copy. I've got to put it up on Kindle. That will be happening very soon.
Okay.
All of my details are on the website, and I've got a Facebook page, and I do a weekly YouTube video. So, you know, I'm all over there. I'm all over the place.
That's awesome. People are loving it. I know they are. I can see it. I'm just so excited for you.
Thank you.
It's great. Thank you. All right, Rachel. All right. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Angel blessing.
Thank you.